Okay, so let's talk about that reusable water bottle. You probably have one right near you, right? Maybe
Yeah.
they're on your
Oh,
desk.
yeah, they're everywhere now. A real staple.
Totally. And we fill it, we sip from it all day, we refill it. It feels very routine.
Hmm.
But here's a question I've been thinking about. How often do you actually wash it? Like, give it a proper scrub?
That's a good one. Probably less often than, say, a coffee mug.
Exactly. Or your plates and forks. Things that also touch your mouth constantly. I think there's this sort of underlying idea that the water we put in is, well, clean? Maybe even sterile?
And that specific assumption, well, that's where our deep dive really kicks off. We've been looking into what microbiology experts say, and it gets pretty interesting.
Okay, so let's explore that hidden world inside the bottle then. What's the real story?
Well, first, let's tackle that idea about tap water being sterile.
Right.
We looked at insights from Primrose Freestone. She's an associate professor in clinical microbiology over at the University of Leicester.
And what does she say about tap water? Is it sterile or not?
She makes a really key distinction. Tap water is treated to be microbially safe,
Okay. Safe, meaning.
meaning it doesn't have harmful levels of microbes,
Right.
but sterile, which means absolutely no living organisms. That's a whole different thing.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, even bottled water, the stuff that goes through extra steps, isn't actually guaranteed to be completely sterile.
So even the water we start with isn't a completely blank slate, microbially speaking.
Exactly. It sets the stage for things to potentially grow once it's sitting in your bottle.
Okay, so growth can happen. But how quickly? Is it significant? There was a study you mentioned, right? Using boiled water.
Yes, and this really highlights the speed.
Mm-hmm.
They used boiled tap water, trying to start as clean as possible in a home setting in adult water bottles.
And what happened?
Well, initially they measured about 75,000 bacteria per milliliter, which might sound like a lot, but wait.
Okay.
After just 24 hours, that number jumped dramatically. We're talking 1 to 2 million bacteria per milliliter.
Oh, 1 to 2 million from boiled water in just a day.
Yeah. It's a pretty staggering increase. Really shows how fast these populations can explode.
Okay, that is genuinely surprising. So if the water itself, especially boiled water, isn't the main source, where are all these extra million-plus bacteria coming from?
Right, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Or maybe the 2 million bacteria question.
Yeah, indeed.
Aidan Taylor, who lectures in microbiology at the University of Reading, explains this really well. He says the vast majority of these microbes, they come from us.
From us? Seriously, how?
Think about it. Every time you take a sip, a little bit of saliva with its own bacteria backwashes into the bottle,
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
even with a brand new bottle.
Yeah.
And then there's handling it. You touch the lid, the spout, the body of the bottle.
Right, and our hands aren't exactly sterile.
Not at all.
All right.
So bacteria from your hands get onto the bottle, and eventually some can make their way inside. We are kind of the primary source of contamination for our own bottles.
That is a slightly unsettling thought. Our own mouths and hands are seeding the bottle.
Pretty much, yeah.
So are there things we do that make this bacterial growth even faster, like habits we have?
Absolutely. Bacteria love, love, love moist environments. So a bottle full of water is already prime real estate.
Okay.
But what really kicks things into high gear is nutrients, a food source,
Like what?
like adding lemon slices or fruit to your water, or using the bottle for, say, protein shakes, smoothies, maybe even sugary drinks sometimes.
Ah, okay. So anything other than plain water.
Exactly. You're basically rolling out a buffet for the microbes. It gives them the fuel they need to multiply much, much faster than they would in just plain water.
Right, the moisture's there, but the food turbocharges it. Got it. Now, we're talking bacteria. What kind are we typically finding? Is this stuff dangerous?
That's important context. A lot of the bacteria are likely ones that already live happily in your mouth or on your skin. For most healthy people, these aren't usually a major problem.
Okay, so generally benign stuff from our own bodies.
Generally, yes. But Aidan Taylor adds a couple of caveats. People's oral microbiomes differ, and someone might have an undetected oral infection, like gingivitis.
Hmm.
That could mean they're introducing more problematic bacteria. Which is a good reason, he points out, why sharing water bottles probably isn't the best idea.
Definitely noted. Keep your bottle to yourself. But are there more serious risks? You mentioned hands earlier.
Yes, that's where the bigger concern lies, according to the experts. Bacteria from the intestinal tract, things like E. coli,
Ah, how do they get in?
usually via hands. If hand hygiene isn't great, those bacteria can transfer from hands to the bottle surface and then potentially inside. That's where you could run into more significant health issues.
Okay, that underlines the importance of hand washing, doesn't it?
Massively.
So, given all this microbial action happening, what's the consensus? What should we actually do about our bottles?
The clear unanimous advice is wash them regularly
Ow.
with hot water and dish detergent. That's the baseline fundamental step to knock back those bacterial numbers significantly.
And what happens if we're maybe a bit lazy about washing, if we let it slide for a while?
Well, Primrose Freestone describes the consequences quite vividly. She says if you neglect it, the water can start to smell bad, taste unpleasant,
Yeah.
and you might notice a kind of slimy texture inside the bottle.
Ooh, slimy. Yeah, I think I know what you mean. What causes that?
That sliminess is a telltale sign of biofilm.
Biofilm. Okay, you mentioned that before. Break that down for us.
It's basically a community of bacteria that gloms together and sticks to the surface. They create this sort of protective, sticky matrix around themselves.
Like a shield.
Kinda, yeah. And the problem is, once that biofilm is established, just rinsing with water, even hot water, often isn't enough to get rid of it. It's quite resilient.
So you need more than just a quick rinse to break through that slimy layer.
Definitely, you need some kind of disruption.
Okay, so avoiding the slime and the biofilm is key. Which brings us back to regularly. How often is regularly? Because I bet my definition is different from yours, which is different from someone else's.
Yeah, there's definitely some variation here, even among the experts, which probably reflects reality. Primrose is on the more cautious side.
How cautious?
She recommends washing it every other use, or at the very least, maybe 3 times a week.
Every other use. Wow.
Yeah. And get this, she actually says she personally tends to avoid reusable bottles altogether because of this cleaning concern.
Whoa, okay, that's quite a statement from a microbiologist.
Yeah.
What about Aiden Taylor? Is he washing his bottle constantly?
He's a bit more, let's say, relatable. He suggests ideally maybe once a week is a good aim for a proper wash.
Okay, once a week feels maybe more achievable for most people.
Right. But he also admits he's as guilty as most people and sometimes lets it go longer, his trigger point. Often when the water starts tasting a bit dodgy.
Ah, the dodgy taste test. I suspect many people operate on that system.
I think so. But importantly, Aiden stresses that good hand washing is probably even more critical for preventing infections overall than just bottle washing frequency alone.
That's a great point. It's a whole hygiene picture, not just the bottle in isolation.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's distill this down. Can you give us, like, the golden rules, the top 3 things to keep the bottles cleaner and safer?
Sure. Rule number 1 is super simple. Try to only put plain water in your bottle.
Just water. Why?
Because anything else, juice, sports drinks, those protein shakes, fruit infusions, adds sugars and other nutrients. That just encourages more growth and sometimes different kinds of microbes like fungi or yeast, which can be harder to clean out.
Okay, rule 1, water only. Makes sense. What's rule 2?
Rule 2 is effective washing technique. To really beat that potential biofilm, you need agitation. So using a bottle brush to physically scrub the inside, that's ideal.
Get in there and scrub. What if you don't have a brush?
If it's dishwasher safe, the dishwasher is great too. The heat and detergent work well. If neither's an option, then use hot, soapy water. And by hot, they mean properly hot, ideally around 60 degrees Celsius or more if you can safely handle it.
So pretty hot. Then what?
Put the hot soapy water in, close it, shake it really vigorously, then let it soak for at least 10 minutes. That helps loosen things up.
Okay, shake and soak.
Then rinse it really thoroughly, get all that soap out, and then this part's crucial. Let it air dry completely overnight. Upside down, lid off.
Why is drying so important?
Drying itself is actually antimicrobial. Bacteria need moisture, so letting it dry thoroughly helps kill off stragglers. Don't just rinse and refill.
Right. Hot soapy water, scrub, or shake soak. Rinse well, dry completely. Got it. What's the third rule?
Rule 3 is about the bottle material itself. If you have a choice, untreated stainless steel is generally recommended.
Why stainless steel?
Bacteria seem to have a harder time getting a grip on its smooth surface compared to plastic. Plastic at a microscopic level can be a bit more sticky, giving bacteria more places to attach.
Interesting. What about aluminum bottles?
Aluminum itself is fine, but just check if it has a plastic liner inside. Many do, which kind of negates the advantage. So ideally, plain stainless steel.
Okay, so number 3. Consider stainless steel, if possible. Good tip.
Those are the main takeaways.
So wrapping this up then, that trusty reusable bottle, great as it is, definitely needs some attention on the hygiene front.
Absolutely. It's not a zero maintenance item. Regular cleaning is necessary to keep that bacterial buildup in check, even if you're just putting clean tap water in it.
And the key is washing often, maybe every other use, maybe once a week with hot, soapy water, paying attention to scrubbing or soaking, rinsing, and especially drying. And maybe stick to just water if you can.
That's the expert advice in a nutshell. Follow those guidelines and you'll be in much better shape.
Well, this whole deep dive has certainly made me look at my water bottle a bit differently. It's quite something to think about that unseen microbial life going on in there.
It really is.
And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? If this is happening in our seemingly clean water bottles, what other everyday objects might be hosting their own surprising little ecosystems? Maybe your keyboard,
Uh,
your phone.
Good question. Lots of potential candidates out there.
It's definitely food for thought. Maybe time for all of us to reconsider our cleaning habits more broadly. Thanks for exploring.